Keep doing math with RHB. Today, I'm going to do order of operations with substitutions. And it's basically pre-algebra. We're talking substitutions, you're talking taking multi-step questions, so BEDMAS, multi-step questions. They have symbols in them, they have symbols, shapes, which would be classified as symbols, or they might have lowercase letters, which are classified as variables. This is pre-algebra. All right, to solve the questions, you have to replace the symbol or the variable with the number that they give you in the question or in the equation, and then you solve according to BEDMAS. We're going to take a look what that looks like. All right. If you've been writing these things in a notebook or trying to keep track of them, that's your best bet. Just listening to it, watching it, doesn't really do it. You have to actually do these operations and find questions that work with that. So we're going to look at substitutions with symbols and with variables. Symbols will be different shapes, whatever they give you. Variables are going to be lowercase letters, which is the start of your pre-algebra. So the first example we're going to look at, you can do this. Alright, we're going to look at the example that says this shape equals 5, this shape equals 2, and then you have the question. Using the same protocol that we did before, we're doing solving underneath. There's no equal sign here. So you're solving underneath, equal sign to the left of the question, and you're going to write the whole question out, replace the symbols with the number, or numbers in this case. So you have 3 times this shape is worth 5, subtract 4 times, and this diamond shape is worth 2. Another equal sign, and then you're going to solve according to BEDMAS. Right? We don't have any brackets, we don't have any exponents, so we do divide, multiply in the order they come, left to right. So we have 3 times 5 is 15. Subtract we haven't used yet. 4 times 2 is 8. And 15 take away 8, you have 7. Next question we're going to take a look at is when you have some brackets and you also have a variable inside the bracket with a number. Right? No equal sign here other than telling you that the x, the variable that you have, is worth 3. So we have to rewrite the question and change the variable. So we're going to put equal sign underneath to the left. Alright, when it's in a bracket here, I'm going to redo the bracket. The 2 I'm going to write down. If there's no operation sign between a number and a variable, it's automatically multiplying. Alright, same as before when we saw a number next to a bracket with no operation sign, automatically meant multiply. Same here. So we're doing 2 times, and the x is worth 3. And you'll notice my x has a tail on it. Right? Putting the tail on it makes it look different than my multiply sign. If you have x next to x, okay, it gets confusing. So I have a times sign. Okay, my tail, or my x here, is going to be replaced by 3. Then I'm going to put the bracket back where it was. Underneath, a plus sign, open the bracket, 5 subtract x, so 5 subtract 3, and close the bracket. Okay, now solving according to BEDMAS, we have to do the brackets first. Equal sign underneath and to the left, and you'll see how they basically follow along. Without lines, it's harder for me to see it. And where am I here? Way over. Okay. 2 times 3 is 6. Plus 5 take away 3 is 2. So we have 6 plus 2 is 8. Next one, we've got letters side by side. next to a number. Alright, so we have to replace the A and the B. So we're going to go equal sign underneath. Now 5AB in this mathematical equation, no operation signs in there, so that means they're multiplying. So you're basically doing 5 times A is worth 3 times B, which is worth 2, plus 4 times A, so 4 times 3, I gotta move this over, subtract 10. So, according to BEDMAS, we have to do brackets first, there aren't any. Exponents next, there aren't any. So we're down to multiply or divide in the order they come, left to right. We only have multiply in this question, no divide. So 5 times 3 is 15 times 2 plus 4 times 3 is 12, subtract 10. You could do the 15 times 2 all in one go if you wanted, right? It depends on if it's a question and a test. Look how many marks it's worth. If it's worth so many marks, you better have so many lines. So if it says 4 marks, it's worth 4 lines. You may not be able to condense it. So 15 times 2 is 30 plus 12 minus 10. We don't have any multiply or divide left, so now we're at add or subtract in the order they come, left to right. 30 plus 12 is 42. Subtract 10 equals 32. That's it. Then we have another strange one. Okay? And they start using different shapes of brackets. And so we have a square bracket and we have rounded brackets inside. Shift here. So they're telling me that y minus 2, y in a bracket divided by y, and y is going to be worth 3. So we need to rewrite the question, replace the y with the 3. I'm going to keep the squared brackets. Don't get rid of anything until you absolutely have to, and that way you don't hopefully make a mistake when you rewrite. So square the bracket, y, so I've got 2 rounded brackets next to each other. Both are letters or variables, y. Alright, so there's no operation sign in there, it's multiply. So y, so you have 3 times 3, subtract 2. Again, no multiply, no sign, so it's multiply times 3. Close the bracket, divide by y. Oops, sorry, divide by 3, forgot to replace it. Again, you have to do BEDMAS. You need to do brackets first, exponents, divide, multiply, etc. So we're inside the bracket. So I'm going to square the bracket again, because I'm not ready to get rid of it. I haven't solved everything in it. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract 2 times 3, which is 6, divided by 3. Now I'm going to get rid of the bracket because I'm going to solve the last thing that's in the bracket. 9, take away 6, you have 3, divided by 3. How many 3's do you get out of 3? 1. So, variables and symbols. Right? So symbols, you just replace what they give you. Variables, you replace what they give you. If you're doing a substitution question. There's algebra where you have to solve and figure out what the variable's worth. This is pre-algebra, so we're talking that replacing the variables with whatever number they give you, then solving the question. You should be able to find lots of practice in your textbook or online, or going to secondhand stores. Sometimes you can find old textbooks for a couple of dollars, sometimes less than that. I've picked up some really good resources that way myself when I was teaching.